special thank you to our sponsor of Russ Reels Live, the Boulder Falls Inn of Lebanon, Oregon. For more information on the Boulder Falls Inn in Lebanon, Oregon, and their amazing conference facility, go to or call 541-451-1000. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Russ Reels Live this Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Don't know what time it is where you are, but I am so glad that you're here. Whether you're watching live or on replay, it's just amazing to have you as part of this audience. And I feel humbled and thankful every time that I go live for all those people who tune in, who watch later, who share this show, who are just amazing people in the comments. And so I want to encourage you today as we get going with this amazing topic. I want you to make sure, be active in the comments. You can ask questions. You can talk to other people. You can talk to us during the show. Just put in whatever your heart delights, and we'll be glad that you're engaging and part of the topic today. So I'm super excited about this topic today. But before we get into things, before we get into Educate, Empower, and Uplift today, we are just wanted to remind you, or I guess I just want to remind you that I'm here at every week, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Thursdays. And this is a fabulous show. It is a topic-driven, panel-driven show. So what I do is bring on amazing people that know what they're talking about on the topic that we're talking about. And we just have a great time just talking back and forth, adding value to you. And that's why we love you to be engaged in the comments. So super excited to get to that. Also, just wanted to remind you that we love for you to be part of the community. And the best way for you to be part of the community is to go to my YouTube page and subscribe today. Well, how do you do that? You say, well, the best way to do that is just to go to russreels.live. Russreels.live will get you to the YouTube page. You can subscribe today. Not only do you get notices about upcoming content, but you also get all the past amazing guests and the past content on the show and Marketing with Russ as well. So I'd love to have you do that. If you could hit that share button now, that would be so amazing. So if you're watching, hit the share button, whether you're live or on replay, doesn't matter. You can share this out. We'd love for you to do that so more people get to see these amazing ladies that are on today. Love to have you do that. Also, just want to remind you, if you have not got your copy yet of my book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, and you want to be encouraged, uplifted, have purpose in life, and just really have a good mindset in all that you do, get my book today. You can buy it at russedge.com, or you can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, whatever your favorite online bookseller is. It comes both in paperback form and an ebook form. There is even a companion workbook you can get along with that on Amazon. That's available on Amazon only, the companion workbook. So love to have you pick that up today too. All right. I think that's about it. We're going to jump into our topic. So my first guest today is Raquel Flores, who's going to be coming on. I know I don't do that really well, but I try, Raquel. So anyway, she's going to come on and kind of lead off our topic for today. Welcome, Raquel. Woo!
Well, let me tell you, Russ, you did great. Thank you so much. And that was an inside joke. I always like to break the ice doing that, saying you have to roll that R.
That's it. Well, and I'm trying. I know it was an inside joke, but I'm still having fun. So I'm still trying.
Well, thank you so much for being such a great sport, and the ladies as well.
You bet. You bet. Well, it is so great to have you here. You were on Marketing with Russ, I think just last week, and we were talking a little bit about this topic. And I said, this would be an amazing topic for a Russ Reels live show and bring some other people in. And so got a couple more ladies tonight. And I just kind of want to have you, number one, give a short intro. Who are you? What are you up to? And then number two, let's give a short intro to our topic tonight.
Absolutely, not a problem. Well, everyone, hello, hola. My name is Raquel Flores, and I've been here on LinkedIn for about a year now, and just helping individuals kind of, explode their potential. Just do so many different things with authenticity and spreading kindness and being inspirational. So I help professionals and entrepreneurs just be more visible with whatever brand that they have, whatever product it is, and coaching and mentoring. So do a little bit of everything. So you'll see me everywhere. But so last week, I had the honor of actually being on Russ's show, Marketing with Russ. And I was saying a golden nugget, and he ran with the idea. And it's so amazing, as you can see, how inspirational one can be on one thing, on one knowledge, on something that we just want to spread the joy or just educate. But it just came up, and I just said, you know what? I want to leave the audience with something: educate, empower, and uplift. And there you have it. And that's literally what brought us here. So I'm so excited to dive into it with the ladies backstage.
There you go. That's it. Well, it's always a great discussion, especially when you have Roz in the house, because Roz is always livening things up. Hey, Roz.
Hi. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you too. Every time I think, I need somebody to liven this show up. Well, this show I do not need that, by the way, because all three of you are lively. But sometimes I've got a cast and they're good, but I'm thinking I need a little spark, and so
You
I
need
can
you
always
need
throw
you need
Roz
some
in.
pink. You need some pink.
Oh, well, it's so great to have you here, Roz. Tell everybody
Thank
who
you.
doesn't know, because you are a regular on Russ Reels Live. Give everybody a little snapshot. Who's Roz and what are you up to?
I'm an executive coach, and I help clients and professionals in career, leadership, and transition. So when people come to me, they're coming to me with things like this. Leaders that need to learn how to new leaders that need to learn how to lead their team and empower them, and they don't know how to do that. So this is a great topic because the educate is the first thing, and we've discussed this before, Russ, with that self-awareness, but we'll get into more of that.
Yes, we will, for sure, for sure. But before that, first, we got to bring in Mia because I tell you, she's smiling and ready to go
I
always. Hey,
I
Mia.
am smiling. I'm like listening to these lovely ladies introduce themselves. So it's my first time at meeting them. So I'm just blessed and honored to meet them and also to be back on your show, Ross. So thank
Mm.
you.
Well, thank you. And you're quickly, I think, catching Roz on appearances on Russ Reels Live. But what's great about Yumia is whether we have a super serious topic, which we've done a couple of those a little more serious, and or if
Mhm.
we just have something fun or really educational and uplifting, like we're going to talk about today, you
Mhm.
are always great because the discussion is always amazing. So first, give everybody a little snapshot. Who's Mia? What are you up to?
Hi, everyone. So for those of you who don't know me, and for those that do, I'll reintroduce myself. So I am a community manager. So I blend my love for community with instructional technology and community management, along with being an educator all in one as a learning experience
Wow.
designer. So I manage dynamic and interactive spaces for people to build relationships. And I've been an educator for over 15 years. So when you said educate, I was like, what? Yes. So that's like my passion. And, whether I was an educator, instructional, tech world, the positivity aspect of it, Russ, of like uplifting and empower people was always part of my jam. I've always done that, no matter the age group of my audience members, whether the younger crowd or the older. That was a piece that always followed through throughout community. So yeah, that's where my passion is, and that's where I thrive. And I enjoy connecting everybody too. So
Well,
that's my
it's one of
sweet
my
spot.
favorite things to do is bring people on that don't know each other before the show because it always spurs on not only great connection between them, but also very authentic, real conversation because it's clearly not scripted. And
Mhm.
none of my shows are. And, people ask me constantly, and even Raquel brought this up before the show, is there anything that we're going to need to know? Do I need to have notes? Anything? Nope. I mean, I want this to come from the heart. I want this to be just like when you brought it up on the show, Raquel. And that is, I want it to be really a passion coming from you. And that whole idea of, you know, educating people, empowering them and uplifting them. It's just helping people, like my good friend Russ John says, helping more people help more people. You're just helping people along, and I love that. So, Raquel, my question for you tonight is, in this whole process, let's start with the first piece because, as Mia was saying, that's really her passion, the education piece. But, people need to have a little help, a little knowledge, a little education to get started with the process. Let's talk about that.
Sure thing. And that is definitely one of the things and the aspects that I share in similarity with Mia, because education for me has been foundational. Coming from a third world country, where I didn't think I was going to make it. When I came to this country, to the US, I vowed myself that I was going to learn English. English is the second language. So I went through all of that. And, it was tough starting from zero, starting from scratch. So I fell back on education. And I'm talking about academia, correct? But that education, the actual word transcends boundaries. It transcends
Mhm.
every emotion, every feeling that you can think of. And educational, you can have emotional education. You can have it's just like leading and mentoring. So it can take so many different facets and can touch so many different lives in different ways. But for me, it really relied on actually informing myself, inhaling books in high school so that I can perfect this language, right? So foundationally for me, education has been key to changing lives. And now with my platform, I vow to educate others, whether it is to lead them, to guide them, but education at the forefront for sure is fundamental.
Right. Well, and I completely agree with you because unless you know what you're talking about and know where you're going and know how to lead people, through the process, you can't really do the next two steps. You can't get to the empower and the uplift. I mean, you could
Mhm.
try, but you can't really do all that for them without some education. And Mia, let's go back to you real quick because I think that education is so foundational for you. So talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, so touching a little bit on what Raquel, right? I'm going to roll my R, was saying is learning, for me, education, learning has no boundaries. There's just so much that goes into it. There's the curiosity, there is just the different learning abilities. And as an educator, I really had, Russ, to understand my audience. I needed to know who they were, what they were about, where their strengths were, what their weaknesses were. So that's why I became so naturally, um, it became so natural for me to kind of pick up on different personalities when it came to understanding my members because I would mentally note them. I mean, when you work with hundreds of kids over the years, you just kind of naturally grasp what they're good at, what they're not. So, just picking up on those pieces, I was able to empower them based on their strengths and what they needed and uplifting them by encouraging them and playing on the strengths that they had, especially when they kept focusing on their weaknesses. I would have to kind of pull back and kind of shift them off into their strengths, and then that helped them become more confident in opening up, feeling empowered, and then just naturally, connecting with the individuals around them.
Yeah, I think that is a really good point you bring up right there. Feeling, being able to be empowered, you got to have that knowledge. You got to know what you're talking about because it gives you that confidence. It gives you
Mm-hmm.
that strength to move forward. And like, when I'm talking about something, well, mostly I talk about what I'm really passionate about when I'm speaking, right? Super easy
Mm-hmm.
for me. I know I have all the knowledge, all the education, everything I need to speak. So it gives me that confidence. I feel empowered naturally and I'm able to move forward and do that. When people don't have that education, Roz, they have troubles taking that step because they don't really know what they're doing and it makes them nervous and uncertain about where they're going, right?
Correct. But here's what we're all doing right now. The part about empowerment is sharing the information
Mm-hmm.
because we can't empower if we're not sharing the information. And with clients and leaders that have a team, they need to share their information so that the next person can take that baton. You can't, we have to share that, because if we don't uplift the community. We don't uplift the people that the next people that they're going to touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I need to take just a moment to tell everybody, a little slow getting the comments up here. So thank you all for joining us. The comments just exploded. When I looked at that, I thought, oh my goodness, I better start putting these up because I'm like way behind. But also, I wanted to thank everybody. Please let us know where you're tuning in from today. Just a reminder, if you missed the beginning of the show, and you can share this out as well and tag your friends. We'd love to have them join this conversation tonight, because this is going to be amazing. So, Raquel, back to you. So we talked a little bit about education. If you want to talk some more on that, you can. But let's pick up on that empowerment and how you really help people along and give them that thought that they do have the power to get out there and do things.
Absolutely. Before I get into that, I did want to piggyback off of what Rosalind was saying. It's the sharing, right? To me, that is so in my core, because I think of creating safe spaces for individuals, whether it's in communities, in groups, or in whichever virtual groups you have, is creating that safe space where people can actually cultivate one another. And I use that word this week as well. It's like cultivating. We're cultivating education. We're cultivating all the golden nuggets that we've gathered throughout our life's experiences, right? But to me, that is that's empowerment in itself. Having a safe space where you can nurture and engage and also equip people to actually go out there and duplicate your efforts. That to me is so fundamental, and that it drives me. It really drives me. So to hit on that power, on the empowerment, it's just like, yes, you educate, you motivate, at the same time you empower them by equipping them with the tools to be able to replicate your efforts from within, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I love that equipping people, because I think Roz brought it up earlier, and that is, you are, finding what their strengths are, or maybe it was Mia. One of you brought it up. It was
Yeah.
great point, whoever brought it up. And that is, finding where their strengths are and where they're going to succeed. This whole thought and concept of, we need to spend all our effort to work on our weaknesses. Whoever came up with that must have, I don't know. Anyway, because why not build on your strengths and where God has naturally gifted you to do amazing things, right? And so, Roz, you're nodding your head. I'm going to let you pick that up.
Yes, because with the strengths, you build the confidence in order to empower. You won't, if you don't know your strengths, you don't know where those gaps are. How are you going to move forward? How are you going to get to the next step? As coaches, when we don't necessarily educate, we are partnering with the clients in a thought-provoking process. And so we're hoping that you yourself have all of those tools. You just have to find where they are. And once you tap into that gold, because those things are gold, because those are the things that are going to empower those people around you, not just within yourself, but around you. And there's one thing that I do want to bring up. It's when we talked about at first, the self-awareness, I want to say you really do have to have the right attitude. Be mindful of how you're showing up, because that is very contagious. Empowerment is contagious. So positivity is contagious. Positivity begets positivity. So if you're coming in and you want to empower, well, be the change you want to see, like Gandhi said.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And one thing, again, back to that point that you guys are talking about, and that is, when you are empowering people's strengths and areas that they can do well in, you're helping them to succeed. And part of that is, you talked about coaching. Well, let's take tonight is game one of the NBA Finals. Don't know if anybody knows that, but I'm a huge sports fan, right? So I'll be watching. But when you are looking at like on a football team and you're evaluating athletes and what they're good at, you're going to put them in areas where they're strong, where they're going to succeed.
Right.
Guys that block really good and that are big and they can hold out everybody, they're going to be on the line. The people that pass amazingly or can run and catch the ball and do really good skill positions like that, that's the areas
Mhm.
they're going to naturally go to, because God has gifted us in certain areas. And you know what? There are other areas that just are never going to be the same. We're going to struggle. Not that we can't get better, not that we can't improve, but there are other areas where it's always going to be hard, right? Where
Right.
some things are going to come more easily. And I think, Mia, that is, again, bringing people into those areas of strength and helping
Mhm.
them feel confident in that, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing, Russ. I was listening to the ladies, and you all brought so many golden nuggets, and I'm thinking about, as an educator when I was teaching for so many years, and what I'm doing now is we talk about educating, right, individuals. But here's the thing for me, as an educator, and even now, it wasn't just educating the learners or the audience members that I'm working with. I had to educate myself on the members that I was working with, right? So, for example, the mental health professionals I'm currently working with, I had to understand their world a bit more to tap into their strengths. I couldn't go in, start assuming I knew everything when I didn't. I had to do my research. I had to talk to them in one on one chats. I had to get to know them, what their strengths were. So then, when I did all that and I cultivated these relationships, I was building trust. When you build community, you have to have that layer, that foundation of trust in order to start building on educating them, educating myself. And once I built that, and they're like, "Oh, Fihmiya's pretty cool. She's good to talk to." That's when I was able to take note and pay attention to their strengths. And as I call them, and I made a post about it, their zone of genius. What are they really good at? What are they passionate
Mhm.
about? What are their strengths? What do they keep talking or typing or posting about? So I mentally would make note of that. And then if it's a smaller audience, I would do, and I nerded out, made a Google Doc spreadsheet, and I would put their names because that's how I connected them. The book lovers, I knew who was a book lover. The ones that were pet lovers, I knew who they were, and I would tag them and bring them into the conversation so that it wasn't just Fihmiya. But that's how I built the community, by paying attention to their zone of geniuses, their strengths. And then that right there really would drive them together and encourage them to open up and connect and encourage each other. So it wasn't
Right.
just me doing all the work. I kind of was guiding them closer together. So it's a process.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it is definitely a process. And,
Mhm.
that whole thing you brought up, I'm all about connection and community building. It starts
Mhm.
with really building that trust factor. And,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the marketing process that I deal with all the time, everybody talks about the know, like, and trust factor. That is a ongoing wheel in life. It's know, like, and trust, know, like, and trust. You're
Mhm.
building that and building community and bringing people together. And without that, a lot of these other things are not possible because people won't
Mm-hmm.
trust you. They won't think that you can help educate them, empower them, and uplift them unless you have a certain amount of that like and trust factor. And so, Raquel, I'm going to bounce back to you. So, I am a super positive guy, always trying to uplift people, and I'm going to let you pick up wherever you want. But after we get done talking about the empower portion, which is so, so important, then, really it's lifting people and helping them to really feel like they can do it.
Okay, well, I'm going to say that Mia said a trigger word for me, which was community. I'm all
Oh,
about
okay. I thought it was a
community.
bad word. I'm like, what did I
No,
say? Was
in
it
a positive
spreadsheet? No, I'm
way.
kidding.
No,
Okay.
it definitely in a positive way. And speaking about community, please, Russ, if you allow me, I want to give a shout out to the hounds. I see everybody there just pulling up and just showing up for support. They epitomize what empowerment is, what a nurturing community is. And I know there's many out there, but obviously this is mine. So thank you guys for being here and showing all the love and being the real example, epitomizing what we're talking about. We breathe it, we put it out into the world. But one thing that I wanted to say before we go to the uplift part, right? Is it's nice to be nice, and it pays to be nice. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
When you're leading with heart and you're leading with intent for the right reasons, the rest will come. I know people are chasing out there the dollar, and I'm going to get a little ebonics, but it is the truth, right? We are on a professional platform that is right. You're either here to do business, to hire somebody, you're looking for work, or you're creating, right? We're creators. We're educating as we go as well. So, but in the sense to me is it's really important to be nice. It's really important to share what you know, like share your crayons, as Mike Asherbanner just says. Go back to your kindergarten skills, and it's really true.
Yeah.
But it's like it's so simple. There's the simplicity of it is so powerful. I have another thing that I wanted to input in there and see what you guys thought about it, ladies. But there's knowledge out there for the taking. If you happen to grab a piece of that knowledge, why not share it? Right? Be nice. It pays to be nice, and it's nice to be nice. So I'm gonna throw that
Yeah.
out.
Oh my goodness. That is so good. Yes, that's applause, mic drop, all of that. Because, it does pay to be nice. Kindness is cool and smiles are free, as Rashawn. I quoted him before, quote him again. Being kind and nice to people is a great foundation for friendships, connections, and community. It also, the sharing your crayons, I love that because, hey, early collaboration, right? Let's teach them nowadays if schools are really because they've got a lot of early learning going on. Hopefully in preschool they're learning how to share things. So by kindergarten they're actually learning some other things and moving on from there. But those foundational truths are so helpful. And Roz, I'm going to let you take it this time. I'll just let you pick up from there.
Well, something that you was just saying that about kindness and sharing that knowledge, in the entertainment world, when we would go out for gigs or auditions or anything, you have a whole room full of people, and you're thinking, there's only one person that's probably going to get this role. But you know what our community would say? There's enough out there. There's enough work. So if you really take that idea with the knowledge, there's enough knowledge. There's enough out there to share. So it's not something that, you need to hold on to, because there's just a vast amount of things that you can share with the world. And I'm going to come back to that, be mindful of how you're showing up. Because if you're showing up with that attitude, like you want to just, keep everything, things are not going to go as positive. If you let those things go, those other things will come to you. It's like that door closes, 10 other ones open. So I love that idea of, yes, if you are kind, if you show up, because that's contagious. How you show up is contagious to the next person. And you bridge the gap of all those disconnected people. You bring them in with that. So I'm just going to leave that there.
Ooh, Rosalind speaking fire into existence. I love it. Girl.
Mic drop.
There we go.
Well, I tell you, it is true. My mama used to always say that kindness, like honey, attracts things in a positive way, and I can't remember the exact saying now. I'm all of a sudden spacing, but anyway, you attract more with honey than vinegar. That's what she always used to say. You be nice to people, you're gonna get that back. What goes around comes around. Let's talk about some good old sayings, right? What goes around, if you're putting out positivity and kindness, you are going to get that back way more often. And I always am telling people that, hey, my favorite phrase, life happens and then you choose, right?
And you repel those people.
Yes.
That you
attract and repel.
Yes, because that the universe is talking back.
Yeah.
The universe talks back to you that way. It's that energy that you put out. If you are going to put out that low frequency, well, guess what? Low frequency is coming your way. If you're putting out high frequency, all that high frequency is coming in, and just it's like delicious.
Yeah.
If I may,
Go ahead.
to something that Rosalind says before we go to Mia, and knowledge is out there for the taking. Knowledge is out there for the sharing. We just have to find a face to address it and a voice to amplify it. That's it. Simple as that. It sounds
Yeah,
poetic, but in
right.
reality, that's what we're doing. That's what educating others and paying it forward is about. So address it with a face and amplify it with a voice. That's knowledge.
There you go.
Beautiful.
That's it. Well, that is so true. And me, I'm just going to let you pick it up from there.
Yeah, I mean, so many golden gems and like mic drops everywhere, literally. You need sound effects, Russ. I'm just saying. Like going back to what the ladies were saying, like kindness is like the language that literally connects us all. And what Roz was saying is you can either choose to attract or you can repel. It's like, which do you want to be? When you are the embodiment of positivity and goodness and kindness, you start to attract those types of people to you. And that's why, to me, what Raquel, I had to roll the R again, community is, I'm so passionate about community. I live, breathe, dream it, sleep it. I mean, I talk about it all day long, and Russ knows that I can do that for hours. But to me, I have been on the opposite end of community where I was kind of shafted and pushed out. So that's why it's important for me to kind of build better spaces for people where they know that they can belong and go into, supporting people where I can. I had a few individuals DM me on LinkedIn and said, why me? Why are you being so nice to me? I'm like, well, why not? Why wouldn't I be? And I was shocked. These are adults. I was like, well, why wouldn't I be nice and smile and be kind? I was like, of course we have our good, bad, and ugly days.
There's something wrong with you.
Yeah, but I'm like, why wouldn't I be right? Why wouldn't I be nice or, try to help? Because like you said, Russ, what goes around comes around. And, when you uplift people, they just become more confident, and then it becomes a ripple effect among everybody else. And they're like, wow, well, that's so easy. I didn't have to spend so much energy smiling and saying a nice word. Because when you're mean and you're rude, it takes too much energy. I'm sorry. Those, I
Mean
repel
girls.
those because I don't want that vibe, because I think we have enough stressors in life that we don't need any more of it. So cultivating that positivity and surrounding yourself with good people, that people just naturally gravitate towards you. They want that connectivity. They want that positivity. There's so much going on in the world that we need to build better community spaces that are healthier, safer, and everybody can come right in.
Well, that's just it. Safer and healthier. A lot of times people talk about a safe space, where people can come in and share. Really, it's sad that every space when people come together is not a safe space. It's sad that there are people, and it does take a whole lot more energy in life to do those negative things than just be kind and loving to people. That really at our core is natural, if we just let it flow. And it's simple. We complicate life so much. We complicate life so much. It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
instead of just being simple. Because, if you want to be encouraged, you want to be uplifted, encourage and uplift somebody else, right? If you want to
Yeah.
be empowered and you want to be making a difference, empower somebody else. Do
Right.
what you want to see. It will come back to you, right, Raquel?
Absolutely. And as you were talking right now, I was just, well, as me, I was talking, I was like, okay, is it Sunday yet? Because I feel like I'm in church, just preaching, preaching,
Sorry.
preaching.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
hang
all
on
day
one
long, just
second.
saying.
Oh, wait, hang on one second.
and me being Latina, I'm dramatic. I think I was Italian at one point in my life because I speak with my hands though. So I'm so sorry if it's in
Me
your
too.
That makes
but
two of
no,
us.
but the thing is, sometimes I've been told, and I'm drinking coffee too, so I'm like, whoo, out there. But as you were talking, Russ, about that community aspect, I couldn't help but think it's innate in us. It literally is in our DNA. Back in the cave days, researchers has shown, right? It has shown that they survived in communities. They wouldn't make it by themselves. They wouldn't make it alone out there in the wilderness. And it's still, you see it in the mentality of the pack. You see it in so many different, in nature. You survive in a community. So why not find your niche? And sometimes I don't like to say safe spaces because, like you said, sometimes they go awry. What I would like to say is nurturing ecosystems. And if you find that nurturing ecosystem that plays into your talents and actually, amplifies your gift, man, you've made it. You've hit jackpot, like you've hit gold. stay there. If you have a community that is nurturing, engaging, and actually uplifting you, why would you want to, go anywhere else? So, to me, I feel blessed that I found that as soon as I came into LinkedIn, but many people go without it and they feel like they can do it. As I always say, you can hold a pebble and it's safe, right, in your hand. But if you hug a boulder with 10 extra arms, you can pick up a bigger piece of the chunk. So I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I was thinking earlier that pebble makes those ripples in the pond, and
Mhm.
how when you're that pebble, what are you creating? You're affecting, you are influencing, you are leading people every day of your life, whether you like it or not, one way or another. Why not choose that positive way, right, Roz?
Absolutely. And I will go back to what Raquel was saying about community. If there is a point or a chance that you can, you stand up for someone else. That's
Mhm.
empowering itself. When someone's having a really bad day at work and you'll say, or you've seen something and you're just saying, I'm really sorry that that kind of happened to you, and you shouldn't have been treated that way. Just hearing those words for
Mhm.
someone else, that is valuable because, people want to feel like they're valued and they're heard. And
Mhm.
maybe the next time you've empowered them to stand up for themselves.
Right.
So when you see that opportunity, take it. you know Build that network, build that community, build that connection, because that's how you're going to get to that roundness of that community.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and I think, something you said there um, made me think back to a point that I made earlier. And that is when you're talking community, if you feel like you are in the wrong community and it is very negative and things around you, I would
Mhm.
say take a deep breath and look at yourself first, right?
What's
Because
attracting you to be there?
what's
Yeah.
attracting you to be there? Are you the one that's influencing people one way, or are you being influenced the other way? Because either one, your environment is so critical to everything you're doing, right, Mia?
Yeah, it's really important. And, just to kind of piggyback off of what Roz was saying and then jumping back into that, it's the people want to be seen and they want to be heard. They want to be appreciated and they want to be acknowledged. They want you to recognize that, right? So it's really important to always be aware and being mindful of your surroundings and the people that are in it, because it's not about just me. It's about the we and the whole picture. And I wanted just to acknowledge what Rob was saying. He said something that I was just like I needed to touch base on. He said it's hard to stay positive in a room with a ton of negativity. I acknowledge that. I know that. I feel it. I'm going
Hmm.
through parts of it. Um, it's hard. I mean, we all are in spaces sometimes where we can't get rid of the people in there. They're just kind of stuck in our lives. But what I have done and what works for me, Rob, is that I have limited the amount of energy and time that I give that individual. I've set boundaries that I've made very clear about how much energy and time I'm giving that person, because being around so much negativity, it does affect you, especially when you're in that space. So it's just being aware of what kind of boundaries can you set with those individuals, whether it's at work or personally. It's tough, right, Russ? I mean,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
it's understanding and it's not easy. But sometimes setting boundaries in community spaces is very
Right.
important. It's setting those guidelines of, if you cross this, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
But you kind of give them warnings in a sense of like maintaining respect um, to yourself, to them, but also the individuals that are in that space. So guidelines,
Yeah,
specifying them from your,
that's very, I agree. That's absolutely difficult being in that
it's
room
very
with
hard,
such low frequency.
so
And
hard.
when I have people that, or clients that come in with these kinds of challenges, I'd say reframe it And going back, Mia, to what you started the conversation with in curiosity, you
Mm-hmm.
know, having a bit of compassion of what is really underlying in this particular connection.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it that maybe we could, come together at some point? It may
Mm-hmm.
not be at that point, but somewhere along the line thinking, maybe there's something I can do here, and see it as an opportunity to dig in, so to
Yeah.
speak. Because
Yeah.
we don't have that connection, we cannot continue and empower and move forward.
And that's so true, Roz, because as an educator, when I would have the misbehaving students,
Mm.
somehow they would
Mm.
always land in my room. They
Oh
were like,
my
take her
gosh.
because she's really, they would always come to me. But I always kind of just welcome them with open arms. But in my head, I was like, dear goodness, just please love me at some point. But the more I got to know these kids, the more we just loved each other. And I realized with some of them, they were just lacking love. They didn't
Mm.
have that attention. They were not recognized, they were not seen. And the more I kind of gave them the attention or the time that they needed, they started to open up to me and they actually liked
Mm.
me more. And I'm not like getting on my high end horse, but it's because I was giving them what they were lacking,
Right.
what they were kind of
Going back to
neglected,
those needs.
going back
Going
to
back
needs.
to
And they were
them.
not being met. And I figured it out because I was giving them the time to open up to me, but also opening up the space of trust. What can I do to help you? What is it that you need help with? How can I best support you? So definitely what you're
Right.
saying, Ross. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
well, you know, before we take the last round, I do want to bring up one comment that Nicole brought up a while ago, and it ties right into what you were saying. I think, Mia, and that is, she's talking about how everybody's not created the same. Everyone doesn't have the same
Mm-hmm.
skills and are outspoken when it comes to community. But I think some fundamental things that we've talked about in this discussion is everybody can always be kind and loving,
Yeah.
everybody in their own way. Everybody can
Mm-hmm.
always be a positive influence in their own way. Some are quieter, some aren't crazy like me going around all the time. Woo, I mean, I'm just like, the out there happy guy all the time. Not everybody's like that, but you're right. But we come to community, and I have some of the greatest community with people that are super good listeners that don't talk a lot, that just through their actions and the way they do things, they build positivity, and they can do what we're talking about. You can still educate, empower, and uplift no matter what your personality. You can still come down to
Mm-hmm.
that. And so, what I want to do as we're getting to the point, I got to give everybody one last round here. We're going to start again with Raquel. I was trying to roll my R and I almost
Yeah.
choked.
Doing good.
Anyway, so we're going to start with you. And what I really want is whatever's on your mind here at the end and your gold nugget of the day, and then remind everybody how they get in touch with you. So go ahead.
sure thing. Well, I was saying, oh my gosh, there were so many things that were said in the last 5 minutes, and I was just like, I want to jump in and say something. To what Mia was saying that, even though she was working with the younger population, that transcends to adulthood too. We need
Yeah.
that as
Mm-hmm.
well. And that's when you
Yep.
start seeing all these mental illnesses. And just because we're
Yeah.
adult, we're supposed to be
Mhm.
adulting, that we don't feel things. We feel a lot. Okay. So, you can be that listening ear. You can be that shoulder that they lean on. Why not? Or take it back to basics. Smile. Be nice to
Mm-hmm.
somebody. You don't even know
Yeah.
if that right there can be the actual thing that changes somebody's day, and it could change their entire life. You're thinking, Raquel, you're talking crazy. You're very cliche. No, a smile has the power to change somebody's lives. That's why
Yeah.
I'm always
Mm-hmm.
showing my gappy teeth, because I'm like, hey, brighten your day. How are you? But it is true to what Russ says. I may not be everybody's cup of tea because my energy is like up there, right? And pair it up with some
I'll take
coffee.
it.
Pair it up with some coffee. They're like, oh my gosh, this girl is too much. I cannot deal. Does she ever be quiet? I'm like, you should meet my daughter. That's when you say, bring back Raquel. So anyhow, but what I would say my parting things were, usually they say vibrations. I know Rosalind mentioned vibrations, vibrations in the people you surround yourself with. What I found out in the years that I've been, diving into myself and actually to see how I can help people, level up Shout out to you, Dr. Constance Leland. What I've said is surrounding yourself with people who are high on their emotional, intelligence, who are mature, because that equates to currency for me. So the more emotional maturity that people have, the more valuable that they're going to bring, the more value that they're going to bring into your life. And the more of those people that you have in your life, the more enriched your experiences will be. And you're going to go out there and do the same and pay it forward to somebody else. So the community that you're with, the community that you're in is very important. So find the right niche for you. And if you don't know how to find a niche, we got a whole panel of experts here and direct you and guide you to how to do that. So first and anything, connect with people, find your niche. And about if you don't know what to do, just at least be visible. Put yourself out there. It really doesn't hurt.
Yeah. And your connection information magically appeared below you. What is your favorite way for people to connect with you?
Absolutely, through LinkedIn is the best. I have the Raquel's Connection Corner every Saturday. It's a live stream show where it's another one of those nurturing ecosystems where people can connect in a very nice space. So yes, sir, that's how they
Awesome.
can find me. Thank you.
Okay. So great. Awesome. Thank you so much. And Roz, you're up next.
Oh gosh, that's a whole lot. Smiling is a big thing. If we're thinking about empowering, there's two things that I'd like to bring up, and it's sharing your story, whatever that is. Sharing stories actually opens up the brain even more, and people are much more receptive. So not only when you share a story, but listen to a story. Again, going back to people want to feel heard, because when they feel heard, they feel valued as well.
Yeah.
So sharing your story and listening to story are very important in empowering others. And I would leave everyone with do something today that your future self will thank you for.
Awesome. Awesome. And connection information.
It's right below. Oh my
Look at
gosh.
amazing.
Surprise.
Well,
LinkedIn.
I want to remind everybody it is clickable too, and you can easily get to these ladies to have a longer discussion. And I tell you, you will be blessed by it. But thank you so much, Roz. Hey, Mia, you're up last year.
Just with everything that everyone had said, just bringing it all together is just for all of us here and those in the room and those that will be listening later, is that we honestly all have the ability to create that ripple effect of positivity among people and to touch people's lives and inspire change, whether it's a small win, a big win, whatever it is, it all counts. So being able to educate, empower, and uplift one another, that's up to us if we want to make that change. It starts with us first, though, for us. I always tell people if we want change, we have to be the ones that we start from within to do that. And we can make that difference if we are willing to do it too. And community is what everybody needs. People want it. They want to connect. They want to feel like there are people that are willing to open up their arms to accept them as they are, with no labels, no judgments, but just as who they are authentically and genuinely. Because I can't tell you the amount of adults that reach out to me and have opened up, and it's like what I can't remember who said it, but it's the adults, right, Raquel? I believe it was you that said it.
Yes.
Yes, adults need it as well. They are also saying, I need to be heard. I want to be seen. Please give me that. And it's just a matter of really just opening up space for them. And so my hope for everybody is that everybody will kind of take a moment or two to kind of just reflect on everything that was said and really just take that step and hopefully start making that change to make it a better space, not just for us, but for these younger generations too. So.
Right. Great. And again, your connection information magically appeared below you.
Ta-da!
And so, yes, I just try to make it so simple. Actually, we can all say thank you, Ever, who's busy putting that stuff in for me. So,
I know. I was like, who's behind
Thanks,
the scenes
Ever.
doing all this?
yes,
Thank you.
listen, I want to thank you ladies so much. I knew this was going to be an amazing conversation. And you, just so you know in advance, normally I don't tell people this, but got here in a few weeks, there'll be a Russ Reels Best of Russ Reels Live. This will air again because it's been such a great discussion. And I have found it's amazing how many people miss it the first time and tune in the second time. So yeah, I mean, I just thank you all so much. It's been amazing. I'm going to say goodbye and send you to the green room. Hang tight for just a second and I'll be right there.
Okay.
Wow. Amazing. Well, I am truly blessed. I say it all the time, but it is so true to have amazing friends that are willing to come on and share so much value with you. This has been such an engaging discussion today, and so many people are involved in the comments. It's been crazy, which is great. I love to have such a variety of people and their perspectives. And I'm just thankful to all of you. Thanks for showing up today. Thank you for being part of this. You are an important part of this community. And I love the fact not only are you taking part in this discussion, but you're building community with each other. And that is so important. So thank you so much for being here today. This has been an amazing topic. Remember, you can get out there and educate, empower, and uplift people every day of your life. Doesn't matter what type of person you are. Find your community, find a good community where people want to do things, like-minded things, where people collaborate together and work together, bless each other, smile at each other all the time. That is the place you want to be. And so I just encourage you today it starts with you. Take that action and do it today. So anyway, thanks so much for being here today. Remember, we're here every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Russ Reels Live. It is always amazing. Great panels, great topics. And I just hope to see you next week when we do it again at 4 p.m. Pacific. We're going to have a great group. But until then, have a great day and a great life, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.